fossils found here reveal key changes happening in the bodies of mammal-like reptiles.
It almost looks like a tibia or fibula, maybe from the other side.
Among the most telling for our story were changes happening inside their mouths.
Beautiful cusps. Oh, you see them nicely on this side.
Yeah, look at that.
And that takes us to one of my favorite topics: teeth. For anatomists, teeth can reveal a lot about an animal's life. One of the great anatomists of all time was Baron Georges Cuvier, who lived in Paris in the 1800s. He was remarkably important, remarkably smart, and remarkably arrogant. He had a boast, and his boast was, "Show me the tooth of any animal, and I can reconstruct its entire skeleton." Turns out Cuvier was pretty much right. And here's a tooth. This is a huge tooth, clearly came from a big animal. Flat surface on top, that animal clearly chews plant material. What is a big animal that eats plants? An elephant. Here's another one. Large canines, big scissor-like teeth in the back. This creature clearly, is built to eat meat. This is a lion. So teeth contain so many answers to the basic biology of creatures. They can tell us what animals eat, what they likely look like. But they can do so much more. They can answer mysteries that Cuvier could only dreamed of knowing. Teeth give us a window into our distant past by telling us how our ancestors lived and evolved. Roger wants to show me a particularly striking specimen that's over 250 million years old.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Ferocious. Look at those teeth.
Now, this is the Gorgonopsid. These are the carnivores of that time.
Boy, the teeth really tell a story on this.
Certainly do, yeah.
Gorgonopsids might look a bit like T-Rex, but they lived millions of years before any dinosaur was around.
This is a fossil that when you see it, you know exactly how it lived, what it did, This wasn't messing around, this creature.
Absolutely, yeah.
Gorgonopsids were ferocious predators with mouths full of highly specialized teeth. And that represents a dramatic change from the much more basic teeth of reptiles. Most reptiles have sharp peg-shaped teeth that all look really similar. These teeth are only great for one thing: biting. They can't strip or chew their food. Instead, they tear off chunks and then swallow them whole. The Gorgonopsid's teeth had come a long way from their reptilian cousins.
Compared to the reptiles before it, there was no differentiation of incisors and canines, but this elongation of the canine is a particularly mammal-like feature. And the front teeth were like two little needles that came together. Very, very well adapted for flesh tearing.
So here you start to see differentiation along the tooth row. They're all sort of the same shape, but they're different sizes, specialized in different ways.
Gorgonopsids had virtual Swiss Army knives of teeth. Giant canines for piercing tough skin, and incisors for stripping flesh off a carcass, so they could avoid swallowing whole bones. Never before had such menacingly efficient eating machines ruled the land.
These particular Gorgonopsians were fairly long-legged, and the front legs were slightly sprawled, the back legs were nice and upright. So even in their gait, they're somewhat between a reptile and a mammal.
Over millions of years, back teeth would also become more specialized. They developed extra ridges called cusps for chewing food, allowing more efficient digestion and more energy for chasing prey.
These ancient innovations were the precursors to the molars we have in our mouths today.
Got a mouth of molars. Couldn't eat the apple. Mouth of incisors. I couldn't eat the whatever you call this. It's good, by the way.
Guava roll.
Guava roll. Thank you for having molars, because I'm glad I could do this one.
You know, but the humble tooth is very important for our lives today. Every time you bite into an apple, right, that is a very complex behavior. Our front of our teeth, the incisors, bite into that apple, and they do so in almost a perfect way. The teeth occlude in a very fixed pattern, a very precise pattern. We take for granted how we rely on precise tooth-to-tooth occlusion, except when things go wrong, except when we crack a tooth or something like that.